Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Clinical Scoop. I'm here, Dan Sfera, Chris Sauber, Dr. Al Jazairli, and today we get special guest, Dr. Srinivasan, rheumatologist. Okay, I actually met you, Doctor. We were talking, Dr. Al, before we started recording. I actually met Dr. Srinivasan 2 weeks ago when I was at your site monitoring,
Yes,
and
yes.
last week I think we talked about lupus, different autoimmune diseases. So this week we wanted to bring on a rheumatologist to talk about different studies that are on clinicaltrials.gov, and I will share my screen so that we can move to clinicaltrials.gov. But in the meantime, Dr. Al, can you introduce your colleague to the viewers and listeners out there?
Dr. Srinivas is like, it doesn't need introduction. He is well-known rheumatologist in Los Angeles area. He's been here for many years. He run about 2 or 3 clinics through a complete care centers, healthcare centers, and he works with me in my clinic actually once every 2 weeks to see the patient of mine that needs rheumatology consultation. He's a great physician, and all his patients is very good. He's been involved in research for a long time, even before me. And I talked to him about running clinical trial. He was very encouraged because he stated that he believed in it, and he has been enrolling a lot of patients in clinical trials overall.
Mm-hmm. Welcome, Dr. Srinivasan. Can you talk a little bit about some of the research you've done in your career?
Dr. Serini,
Maybe we lost him.
I think he.
Yes,
Oh, there we
I'm
go.
here. I'm here.
Too
I'm
much
here.
traffic. Too much traffic on the 101.
Always here.
Dr. Serini, can you give us a background on some of the research that you've done during your career?
Uh, Most of the research I did was part of UCLA as a fellow many years ago. At that time, I worked on, how methotrexate dosing in rheumatoid arthritis, kind of what doses were
Ah,
appropriate patients and things of the nature. And it was a double-blind study. It presented, I forget exactly where, in some international symposium in San Francisco, I think.
okay.
We also prepared the criteria for certain diseases like polymyositis, dermatomyositis, and also for scleroderma, which was very minimally known those days, which we know much more about in these days. Also, there is some drugs on this. There used to be a drug those days very similar to Plaquenil, except that it was more of an anti-parasitic drug. Not knowing much about the immune system, we used that drug. It's called levamisole. It is still there, but outdated drug, still being used in some by rheumatologists and mostly in Europe. Very similar to Plaquenil, because we don't know how Plaquenil works in some of the autoimmune diseases, and even recently it hit popularity because of the coronavirus. Similar to that, the levamisole those days for lupus and autoimmune diseases. Those are some of the few studies, along with did some studies on some of the antihypertensives and scleroderma, lupus nephritis-induced hypertension, things of the nature, to name some of the few.
And we're gonna look. Thank you for So we're gonna. Last week we talked about lupus. Chris, I think we're all interested in rheumatoid arthritis. Like, we see the studies. We see how many studies do we see, Chris, on a regular basis? Rheumatoid arthritis. I know lately we've been seeing more. No.
Yeah, a few more, yes. Over the
Let's
last few months, probably 2 or 3.
Okay.
There is, just to give you an input, there is, with the way medicine has developed in the last 10, 15 years, there has been tremendous progress in understanding various cytokines and things of that nature. So there are so many drugs now coming out, very, very typical targeted therapy for lupus, scleroderma, also for the psoriasis, psoriatic arthritis, and some of the vasculitis-related syndromes. It just is amazing to see how many of them are coming out. Yeah, all this due to the fact that, we know what tumor necrosis factor is these days, what interleukins are. And, the interleukin has taken a huge explosion, interleukin 1, interleukin 6, interleukin 13, 17, 23, 27. Anyway, there is so many studies that's bursting out. So we have a huge practice. We have a lot of lupus patients. Like Ghassan was saying before, I go to about 6 clinics we have in LA. We have a total of 10 clinics. And each and every clinic is, we have a huge population. We are booked up for 3 months. A lot of patients waiting. So we have a huge patient base. We love to get involved in some of the studies. And also not only the studies, as they come up with more of the biologics, some of the studies which will become popular pretty soon is to see as these drugs are working, also a lot of patients are becoming kind of, showing some side effects to some of them. So see, is there any autoantibody directed against some of these cytokines and things of the nature? These are new areas. So, I have a lot of interest in it to see, maybe you guys can look to see what kind of studies out there, what is available, and we have a huge patient population.
We're gonna do exactly that. What cities in LA are your clinics in?
Pasadena, Hollywood, Monterey Park, Cesar Chavez, Southgate, Huntington Park. Those are the few clinics.
Very good.
And
A lot of minority communities. A lot of minority communities, which is
correct.
good.
Mostly correct.
Yeah, so what we do on this show is we bring experts on like yourself, like Dr. Al, and we pick a specific condition. Like today, I guess we'll do rheumatoid arthritis. We pick a specific condition and we look at some studies that are currently recruiting or not yet recruiting. Can you guys see my screen, everybody?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm sharing my screen here. For those on the podcast, you might want to watch the video on the YouTube, but we'll try to talk through it so that you don't have to watch. But basically, we're on ClinicalTrialscom. I put rheumatoid arthritis. I put United States, not yet recruiting or currently recruiting. And then I should put industry sponsored. So funder type, and then you do industry sponsored and you apply. And maybe that will change my results a little bit. Let's see.
You lost half of them.
Yeah, you lost half of them.
Good. I lost the first one I was going to click on. But sometimes they are universities also, even on the industry sponsored. So first one we're going to look at, ACTH gel therapy in rheumatoid arthritis. And here's why we look at these things. We look at these things because we imagine that there are clinicians listening or watching that are curious, okay, what's new in research right now for certain therapeutic conditions? And we try to hit a lot of them. We've done Alzheimer's, we've done lupus, we've done schizophrenia, we've done, I can't remember, we've been doing this for a while now. Today we're doing rheumatoid arthritis, and we not just look at the science, but we look at this, myself and Chris particularly, and Dr. Al, we look at it from the perspective of if you have a research clinic, would this be a good study, for example, to bring to your site?
No, not a good study.
And this one, no. This one, no, because it's 20 participants. But let's see if either Dr. Srini or Dr. Al know about this particular compound. So this is ACTH gel. Are you guys familiar with this?
Yes.
Here you get your answer then.
Is this already on the market?
That's a good question. My feeling is that it probably just came into the market.
Okay.
So
in 2010, the FDA retained RA as a disease approved for ACTH gel use. Okay. So I guess this is a phase. What phase is this?
Probably 4.
It sounds like a phase 4,
right?
but yeah.
So
there's some context there.
Is this the same one? I'm trying to remember. What is the trade name for that? ACTH gel.
Yeah, Acthar gel.
Acthar, correct. Yeah, ACTHAR, right? That's right.
Yes, yes. This looks
Correct,
like
yeah.
Just marketing, I think.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
I
post-marketing.
agree with Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's
this
mainly
one,
it's mainly used. The indication for that is mainly if a RA patient has an acute flare, exacerbation, so it is used in short intervals to get over the crisis. In other words, patient is doing well and suddenly there's a flare. The breakthrough flares, they have been trying the ACTA to see. Looks like there are some good results on that.
okay, so let's go to the next one. And when you guys are looking at clinicaltrials.gov on your own, as you should, everybody who's looking for studies needs to be on this website. You're going to come across more studies that are not appropriate for your site than are. Like that one as an example. That's only currently being done at University of Pittsburgh. This next one, this is an educational intervention to improve patient-physician awareness of cardiovascular risk. So that doesn't sound interesting right now. Let's continue. Randomized double-blind vehicle-controlled repeat dose comparative study in RA patients managed with what is this? A DMARD?
DMARDs.
DMARDs?
DMARDs. Yeah.
Let's look at that. Repeat dose comparative study in RA patients managed with DMARDs. So what is this? Can you guys explain in English what's this?
DMARD stands for disease-modifying remitting agents. Basically, they control arthritis. It's just like the name says, D stands for disease-modifying.
So would prednisone be a DMARD?
Yes.
Would methotrexate be a DMARD?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. This study also not interesting. Only 16 participants. So basically, this is done at one site, and that's it. And the site, if you're curious, is actually USC. There, Dr. Srini, you might know this guy, Michael Selstead, Dr. MD. If not, we have his phone number. You can call him.
You'd appreciate that. Lots of calls.
We'll give him a text or an email. We have a good email contact here.
I think USC is a big center, and they're gonna close it soon. The study, they only want 16 patients. They can get it like.
I think so. Yeah.
Time.
Here's one with Bristol Myers Squibb, but this is just a registry study, so probably not good. Here's one with sarilumab, observational study on sarilumab exposed pregnancies. So no, I don't know about that one. Here's one, methotrexate. This is being done at a lot of sites. Study of ATI 450 plus methotrexate versus methotrexate alone in patients with moderate to severe RA.
I think this is appropriate. Let's see.
Yeah, it looks like there's more. 25 participants. See, all these rheumatoid arthritis are small studies. What are they looking at? They're looking at phase 2 randomized investigator and patient blind, sponsors unblinded, parallel grouped, safety tolerability PK of and pharmacodynamics of ATI 450 plus methotrexate versus methotrexate alone. So ATI 450. Have you guys heard of this? It's new. So let's see.
Let's go down a little bit.
This is Aclaris Therapeutics. It's a MK2 pathway inhibitor. This is what Aclaris Therapeutics is doing right now. They're in the phase 2. It's the furthest they are with this particular MK2 pathway inhibitor. That's what this is.
Dr. Serini, what's your experience with MK2 pathway inhibitors?
Not much. I think it's more in your field, right? If I'm not mistaken,
Type of
multiple myeloma.
It's anti-inflammatory. Sarilumab, no. I think sarilumab, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
There is a guy we can contact. There's actually being done at many sites, but they only want, I think this must be a typo here, 25, because they have 5 sites. So maybe each site's supposed to enroll 5 patients. I don't know, but This could be, if you were a site, you know, this Marco Cardillo guy would be a good contact. Looks like inclusion, adult onset rheumatoid arthritis, DAS28 CRP greater than or equal to 3.2, moderately to severe active RA. Exclusion, patient has a current acute or chronic immunoinflammatory disease other than RA. Blood pressure level greater than 140. I might not pass this one. Over 140 for systolic blood pressure. Supine position for 5 minutes rest. Currently receiving corticosteroids at greater than 10 milligrams a day, like prednisone or equivalent, would be excluded. This would be hard to enroll, no? If somebody
No, there are patients.
with RA?
We have patients like that. Yeah.
Wow, with
We have.
severe RA?
Uh,
That's crazy.
we have a large population of those kind of patients.
Okay.
Most
Is
people
this,
aren't on prednisone, Dan.
Oh, okay.
Is it what is Celgene? Is it same as this?
Which one?
Celgene?
Celgene. MAQ2.
Celgene is like the JAK2 inhibitor. I think this is a different pathway, Dr. Serini.
Oh, okay, that's what I want to find. Okay.
This would be a good
Yeah.
study for you, Dr. Srini. I mean, this they haven't started recruiting yet.
Yeah, no, we have that kind of patients. That will be a good one.
Let's look at the aclaristx.com. Oh, I guess this is the website. So, yeah, they have, in addition to rheumatoid arthritis, they have COVID, CAPS, cryopyrin associated periodic syndrome. Never heard of it. But,
Yeah, those are unusual. Yeah.
yeah, inflammatory bowel disease. Okay, IBD, atopic dermatitis. So this is would be a good study or a good sponsor to network with. And see, the thing I love about these small sponsors is you get the contact of like the key decision maker here. So let's copy and paste for
I'm going to
future.
email him right now.
For future contact, yes.
You could give a demonstration on how to email somebody.
Oh, that would be boring to everybody. But we could later. So that one's interesting. That's a good example of, even if you don't get that study, maybe they already have too many sites. It's a phase 2. If it goes to phase 3, you want to be on this guy's. And look, I will show you this part because I'm not going to show you how to email somebody, but I will go to LinkedIn and show you that I bet you he's on there. Just bear with me here, because this is how we can network. And so my point is, this is a good study to get to know this guy, because it could move on to a phase 3. Yeah, see, I think that's the guy, certified research associate. So I think that's him. I think he's involved with this small drug company. Yeah, see, Aclaris Therapeutics, found him. Boom, gonna connect. I'm gonna email him this video later. And yeah, that's a good guy to get to know. So, Dr. Al, we got to be on top of that one.
We love you, Dr. Al.
Huh?
I just said he's going to love you, Dr. Al.
I think it's a good connection.
Oh, absolutely.
We have a lot of multi-specialty drug company that can do for rheumatoid arthritis, which we have enough patients, and do for COVID and for dermatology, IBD, a lot of things. So I think it's a good company to connect with.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me and Chris, even today in the Site Owner Academy, we had somebody ask, how do we get more studies? They ask us this every day. So we just showed you exactly how. Pick a therapeutic condition, go on ClinicalTrialscom, research them when you never heard of the company. It's a small company. They list the freaking CRA on the ClinicalTrials.gov. They're that small. Okay, so he's a clinical trial manager, oncology.
Bless
So
you.
he's been bless you. So I found a new study that we could look at. But that's how you do business development. Okay, here I have a big study, guys. This is big, 1,300 patients. Not yet recruiting. Eli Lilly is the sponsor. Drug is Baricitinib. I don't know how to pronounce these drug names. Baricitinib.
How do you spell that?
It's phase 4.
Baricitinib. Baricitinib.
How do you spell-
Let's
yeah, how do
see.
you spell it?
BAR ICITINIB. Sold under the brand
Olument.
name Olumiant.
Olument.
Baricitinib is, yeah, it's also JAK inhibitor.
2
And-
inhibitor.
Yeah, it's one of the, they're trying to study it for COVID also, correct, yeah.
Phase 3B and 4 study. So this is good. This is actually a good study for most sites because there's a lot of patients. It's phase 3B and 4. So it's doing post-marketing. They're also probably trying to find, let's look at one of the endpoints. They're probably trying to find time from first dose of study treatment to first event of venous thromboembolism. So they probably have a, I don't know if they have a black box warning of this on their drug. First event of venous
Dan,
thromboembolism. Yeah.
will be very good study for my site. We have the rheumatologist, Dr. Serini, and me hematologist for DVTs or for the VTEs events.
Okay.
So that will be very good fit for the site here
So
in
the only
Hollywood.
problem with this one is it's Eli Lilly. And so we don't have a contact. We just have this. But what we have is sites. We have other sites across the
Arizona.
country that we can network with. So you like Arizona? Maybe we
Scroll
can.
down, see if there's any California sites.
I'm
if there's
sure.
any competition.
I'm sure they have Canoga Park,
There we go.
Covina, El Cajon, Fullerton. Oh, St. Joseph. This is the hospital we go to, my neighborhood hospital. Hemet, Newport,
Oh my
Huntington,
gosh.
La Mesa. There's a lot of sites. Los Angeles, Dr. Dola Tabadi, Mission Hills, Palm Desert, Poway, East Bay, Tahunga, Tustin,
There's-
Upland.
you have some competition, Dr. Al.
Yeah, but look at all
A
these
lot,
people.
but all of them rheumatologists. None of them hematologists.
Right, we can contact, and we wouldn't contact California. We'd contact Florida, someone far away from us, and say, hey, you know, we noticed that you're participating in this study, Keela Hoover. I would love to network studies with you. And I'm looking at Dr. Keela Hoover. Yeah, this is her, Fort Lauderdale. Let's connect with her too. And you can reach out to her later. So this is how you do the old school, guys. This is like me in 2010 when I was doing business development. But let's look at the
Dialing for dollars.
yeah, but now you're not dialing. You're just clicking now. It's easier.
Yeah, right.
So eligibility criteria. If look at the inclusion, it's just two things. Participants must have at least one of the following characteristics: documented evidence of a VTE prior to the study, at least 60 years of age. That explains all the Arizona sites and the Florida sites. A body mass index greater than 30. Age
Greater than, that's unusual.
Yeah, or they could be age 50 to less than 60 and a BMI 25 to less than 30. So it's a pretty good participants must have an inadequate response or intolerance to at least one disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs. So that's DMARD, synthetic or biologic. And then exclusion, participant must not have prior use of a JAK inhibitor or have received more than one prior TNF inhibitor that was documented for IR, lack or loss of efficacy. So it's pretty simple, actually. Must not have more than one VTE, must not have cancer, must not have active herpes, tuberculosis, any serious illness. Yeah, so
I like
this
that
would be a good study.
I like that last one. I don't think I've ever seen that as part of exclusion criteria. IV drug use.
Yeah.
That's kind of unusual.
Or other illicit drug abuse. Yeah, or chronic alcohol.
But
Yeah.
specifically IV drug use, they itemize. So it's just kind of odd.
Yeah, I wonder why. There's got to be a reason for this. But look at all these sites doing this. So they get Kentucky. So this would be good. Like we can network. I just picked one at random. But if we spend enough time looking at these names, maybe I'm already connected with somebody on LinkedIn that's doing this study, and then that makes it even easier. But if not, we can talk to strangers and get to know them. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Dr. Al, you said you already like this study. You want this study.
I think this would be very, very good fit for my clinic here. Again.
It's a JAK inhibitor, so yeah, that'll be a good one for us also.
Okay, so that write that one down, Chris, or it's documented that we'll come back to this one. We might have Julie work some Zymewire magic on that one. Let's look at one more. Let's look at one more. I'm trying to find one. Oh, here's one with like more than 16 sites. So let's see. Safety and tolerability of PF. So I think this is Pfizer. PF068, some drug by Pfizer in subjects with seropositive systemic lupus or rheumatoid arthritis.
Interesting.
Good. Let's look at this one. Recruiting.
Yeah.
Phase 1 single and multiple dose escalation study to evaluate the safety tolerability of PF. This has got to be Pfizer.
It's phase 1, and it's a tough study because it started in 2017.
Yeah, and it is Pfizer. It's Pfizer's the sponsor.
And they only want 112.
112. But that's a lot for a phase 1, 112.
But it's 3 years old, so
yeah. Let's look at this.
Sure, it's got to be difficult.
Look at
That's
all.
Still open, also. That's interesting.
Yeah, look, they have cohort 1, cohort 2, cohort 3, cohort 4. They have like 9, 8, and then they have another 6 cohorts.
So 14 arms.
This looks complicated. You guys want to do this one?
Nah.
Well, fair
It's too
enough.
much complicated, you know. It's this kind of study is like it's really need and look at the centers that's participant. Most probably it's big universities.
19. So Pinnacle Research Group, Wallace Rheumatic Study Center, Beverly Hills. Maybe you guys know them. Altman and Clinical.
Cedars.
Oh, okay, Cedars. UCSD.
See?
They have Parexel. Oh, Parexel owns a site, Chris. Here's an example of a CRO that owns a site.
Interesting.
It's happening, guys. So yeah, it looks like a mix of like hospitals and phase 1 units. But like Dr. Al said, this would be complicated for a regular site unless you are an inpatient site. Look at all these primary outcomes: eligibility, patients with rheumatoid arthritis, patients with lupus, active central nervous system manifestations, active lupus nephritis. These are all the exclusions. Treatment with B-cell depleting agents within 52 weeks. So this is looks like a complicated study. But yeah, and see, you could still network with these guys if you wanted to, but you'd have to Google somebody like the clinic's name and then contact them somehow, or go on LinkedIn and find somebody. Let's try this. Avail Clinical Research. Let's go on LinkedIn and see who's there. Samantha Watts is a process improvement leader here. She looks friendly enough, so we'll connect with her. Okay. And let's see if there's one more. Where were we? Way down here. Let's look at some. Oh, here's one with 70 sites. Here's another one with Pfizer, and combination of comparative study of Pfizer drug and Humira in combination with methotrexate in participants with active rheumatoid arthritis. It looks like 80 sites or more. This is a phase 420 patients. phase 3, comparing the switching between the investigational product and Humira in combination with methotrexate in participants with moderately to severe acute rheumatoid arthritis. Let's Google what this investigational product is.
Yeah,
least-
you know that we have a lot of patients on that for this particular study.
Adalimumab.
Adalimumab. Mhm.
Oh, and it takes me back to ClinicalTrialscom.
What is the adalimumab, Dr. Srini?
Humira.
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 Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
So
they're
Humira with
comparing-
methotrexate?
Yeah, but that's the popular combination these days. We have a lot of patients on that.
Interesting.
So that's Humira. Basically, they're testing that, I guess, the generic versus the Humira to see if the combination with methotrexate, because they're switching between the investigation product and Humira.
Quite a few of the studies you're bringing up, yeah, we have a lot of patient population. Ours is one of the largest in Southern California, patient population-wise.
Well, there you go, guys. We're gonna send this to Pfizer, and then give you guys the Dr. Al and Dr. Srini's phone numbers. Let's see in California who's doing. Oh, this is being done all over the world. You got Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Texas, West Virginia, Bosnia, Bulgaria, Czech. Let's see if California, Lithuania, Poland, no. Russian Federation, Serbia, South Africa, Ukraine. But they do have a few US sites, but they're all in Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Texas, West Virginia. So
Maybe we can add one in the West Coast. All of them like in
Correct.
the
maybe let's connect with somebody from Graves Gilbert Clinic. It seems small enough. Graves Gilbert Clinic. This is the CEO. How about that? We'll connect with him. Hey, I think I met this guy before. No, I didn't. I can't connect with him. Oh yeah, I can. Let's connect. So let's see if they accept me. I could always message them too. That's the trick to using LinkedIn. So that's like an example, guys, of the how to look. In this case, we did rheumatoid arthritis. How to look for studies. Ideally, you want to be with your PI, like we were with Dr. Al and Dr. Srini. So when I don't understand something, I ask them. But then we understand the business aspects too, the phases. So ideally, if you're a doctor, I think you can learn the business part pretty easy. If you're not a doctor, I don't think you can learn the medicine pretty easy. So you need a doctor. But basically, you saw how we do it. This is Dr. Al wants 2 of those studies, I think. So we'll try to get it. Dr. Srini wants 2 of those studies as well. And Chris, maybe we'll get some of these. No? What do you think?
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, it would be good for some of our clinics as well.
Very
So
good.
we'll get to work. We'll send this video out to those people that we were talking about and try to avoid any lawsuits.
Always a good idea.
But thank you guys. I appreciate it. I mean, we got to do more of this. Like, we got to pick different disease indications all across rheumatology. So maybe next week or the week after, Dr. Srini, you come back and we'll pick another therapeutic condition. And we'll do the same thing to see what studies are out there, what we can get, and just give an example to all the people watching and listening of how we do it, and also maybe help ourselves in the process as well.
Definitely.
That would be
Yeah.
great.
Very informative.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Dr. Al Jazirli. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Dan. Thank
Srinivasan,
you, Chris.
Chris
Thank you.
Sauber, and Monica. We'll see you next time, Monica. All right.
Okay, guys.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Have a good evening, everybody.